Just 3 days before the trade deadline, one of the biggest trades in NBA history happened, where Kyrie Irving was sent over to the Dallas Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, 2 second rounders, and an unprotected first rounder. This has to be, I want to say, one of the biggest trades I've seen since I started watching basketball. I can't really think of a trade that sent a top 5 point guard to top 5, top 10 point guard to match up with another top 5, top 10 point guard, arguably the best point guard in the league, and Luka Doncic. I've never seen anything like this happen. The closest thing would have to be, dude, I don't even know. I don't even know what the closest thing to this would be. But Kyrie Irving has been traded to the Dallas Mavericks. What the what the what the figgity what the this is crazy. So today we're going to be watching one of my favorites, Rusty Buckets. He has the video titled, "Can Kyrie Irving Save the Mavericks?" Now, I'm not too sure what he means by save the Mavericks. I don't think the Mavericks necessarily needed to be saved. I wouldn't say they were in a terrible situation. They're in a pretty good situation. They did need more pieces surrounding Luka Doncic. And one of them pieces ended up being Kyrie Irving. Now, to get my take on this, a lot of people, they make these claims so often, and I don't think they realize how good these two players are. It's kind of like when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. They're like, oh, it's not enough ball for all, for Clay, for Steph, for Kevin Durant. It's not enough ball. There's only one ball on the court for those three. That really does not matter. It does not matter. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, I think, will work beautifully together. The only thing is that backcourt defense is going to get picked apart every single game. Luka Doncic has negative defense. Kyrie Irving has negative defense. They traded away a decent defender, Dorian Finney-Smith. So that's about the only area where I see like this is going to be a problem. They don't have defense. But if you're putting up 120, 130 points per game, probably even more than that with these two, I feel like they can get away with giving up 115 points per game. That's just my take on it. I feel like they're going to struggle a bit off the rip. A lot of, and this happens very often as well, where they expect a team to just click like that. No, a completely different player in a completely different system with completely different teammates. It's going to take them a while. It might take them a full season. Who knows? Kyrie might have a great time hooping with Luka Doncic, and he might sign a contract extension. Who knows? But just don't expect anything crazy out of them their first couple of games together. I actually think their first game is Wednesday, so we'll have to check them out. But let's hop into the video. Long intro. I'm sorry. I usually don't do that.
Kyrie Irving has just been traded to
loud?
the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first-round pick, and a handful of seconds. And as someone who has been hypercritical of the Dallas Mavericks, I could really not be more happy with this move. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you why. Real quick, if you end up enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe for 3 videos a week. Also drop a like.
Damn, 3 videos a week.
And it makes a massive difference. So this news literally just dropped, and I immediately ran in here to record this video. But I have a lot of thoughts immediately at the prospect of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving playing together on the same team. Real quick, because that's the obvious thing that we want to tackle, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there my thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets real quick. I do think relative to what was being rumored to be out there that the Nets managed to get back a pretty good return. Dorian Finney-Smith is a really good rotation player. Spencer Dinwiddie has played there before, and he kind of does a, C+, B- version of what Kyrie can do. That's a scoring guard who can be a scoring guard. Not as good as Kyrie, but it fills that type of role, and they're getting back a good role player in Dorian. And
before he goes on, the only thing, this just popped into my mind, the only thing that I would have liked to see the Nets get back in return is a quality big man. Now, Dorian Finney-Smith, he can run the 4, but his primary possession is a 3, so he can run that 3-4 spot. But honestly, if they could have got a Christian Wood out of the Dallas Mavericks, which I don't think the Dallas Mavericks would have gave up, or even a Norman Powell out of the Dallas Mavericks, I feel like that would have just sweetened the pot for a trade a little bit more. But with that being said, Kyrie publicly making it known that he wants a trade, it kind of like the Nets didn't have any leverage to work with. Like you can see some of the other trades where The Phoenix Suns were trying to give up Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and a couple of picks. Nobody wants the Nets don't want a old Chris Paul, a old Jay Crowder, and a couple of picks, but they had no leverage. With the Los Angeles Lakers giving up Russell Westbrook, Austin Reeves, and a couple of picks. Nobody wants Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry, Lakers fan. What did y'all think y'all were going to, did y'all think that was going to work? Did y'all think trading Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving was really going to work? No. So that was another thing. So it's like the Nets didn't really have leverage. This was probably the best package that they could get from any team. So to see that they didn't get a big man, a big center, a quality center, it kind of messes up the trade a little bit. But hey, it's still a great trade for both teams. I feel like the Nets weren't going to get anything from Kyrie this offseason. He said he was still going to play during the regular season, but he was gone this offseason. So it's better to get something for him than just having him walk in free agency.
And the first round pick, you know, cool. Ultimately, I would definitely say if they were trying to get some players that can contribute right now, they did that while also managing to get some draft capital. So good on them. That's actually a much better return for Kyrie Irving than I originally anticipated. But now let's talk about Dallas, because that's what everyone's going to want to talk about. First things first, let's just address, I think that the notion that I'm sure people are going to bring up immediately is the how do you deal with the fact that both of these guys like to dribble the ball
exactly.
a lot. And I will argue that Kevin Durant likes to dribble the ball a lot, especially lately, and it's worked out just fine. Now, obviously, Luka Doncic is someone who almost has the ball in his hand damn near 24/7, and that's not going to fly with Kyrie Irving on the team.
But I'm gonna pause a lot because I'm really interested in this. I just like to have people ideas to bounce off of. I can't just make my own solo video. I need ideas to bounce off of. But that is a completely different scenario. Luka Doncic had the ball 24/7 because he needed to have the ball 24/7. He didn't have anybody like Jalen Brunson last year. When Jalen Brunson was on the court, Luka Doncic didn't have the ball 24/7 because he had another primary ball handler. He had another primary playmaker, or at least a secondary ball handler and a secondary playmaker. He didn't have that this season. Now with Kyrie on the team, it takes so much pressure off of him. It's like, I don't think y'all understand. I don't think Luka Doncic wants to dribble the ball 24/7. I don't think he wants to have to put up 30 plus points, 8 plus rebounds, 8 plus assists per game to just be in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference. He wants somebody to take that pressure off for him. So I don't think he's going to mind if Kyrie takes a couple more touches to him or gets as many touches as him. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't.
So there's definitely going to be some adjustment period, and Luka is going to have to do more off-ball stuff. And ironically, even though he's not done it in the NBA, historically, from where he did it, you know, overseas originally, Luka does have some off-ball chops. It's not something that he is entirely incompetent in. So I'm not too worried about that. And Kyrie Irving, even though he's someone who is known for his handles, is also a lethal knockdown shooter, both off of the dribble and in the catch and shoot. And he's historically been a pretty damn good off-ball player, so I'm really not worried about this from a fit perspective. The only thing that might be there is a little bit of redundancy, just in the fact that both of these players like to attack in similar areas and in similar ways. But at the end of the day, these are two players who have off of the chart shot creating ability, at least in Kyrie's case, really, really good three-point shooting ability. Luka's catch and shoot numbers are terrible. He's weirdly way better at contested step backs and things like that, but you know, he can shoot and he's pretty good at cutting, all that. I do think that this fit is not going to be too problematic. Another thing that's huge about this is Christian Wood has not gone anywhere, which is what I really thought was going to happen in this trade, if this trade were to go down, because I did a video speculating on trades most recent to this one, talking about, you know, the Lakers and Clippers, and of course the Mavericks were also mentioned in that video, the Suns, and I was really quite certain that Christian Wood was going to be a part of this move because there's been a lot of rumors suggesting the idea that Christian's probably not going to be a Maverick by the end of this deadline. Now, maybe that's possibly true. Maybe things will swing that way, and who knows. But right now, it looks like he's here to stay.
If the Dallas Mavericks can pull off something to get them a better wing defender, I'm not talking about like a crazy wing. I'm not talking about upper echelon wing defender. But if they can pull off some type of trade to get a better wing defender and still maintain to keep Christian Wood, I have them as the favorites to win the title. They just need more
And
defense.
that trio offensively is about as good as you're going to get,
Need
because
defense.
Christian Wood as your third best scorer is still somebody who can get you 20 a night on any given night. And now you have 3 of those guys who are capable of getting 20 plus, and you manage to still keep a couple of decent enough rotation players.
Hardaway
Though I
Jr.
will say that I do worry if they do thin out
Norman
the
Powell.
forward position. I guess Maxi Kleba is going to have to step into that spot, or if there's someone else that I'm not thinking of. But I do believe that the Mavericks definitely got about as much bang for their buck as they could. I mean,
Definitely.
Ultimately, Kyrie replaces what Dinwiddie did.
I've been saying Norman Powell. I meant Dwight Powell. Sorry. I've been saying Norman Powell this whole time.
You probably weren't even going
to.
So home run move on the trade front. I really think the fit's going to work. So now let's talk about how far this Dallas Mavericks team could potentially go now that they have Kyrie Irving on the roster, because I really think this throws a massive wrench in really the entire Western Conference, because right now things are about as open as they could be. And because of that, a team making a home run move like this could actually swing things rather dramatically, and I think that's very well possible here. Now that the Mavericks have Kyrie, I think that instantly makes them significantly scarier than they were before to face. Because what has happened historically is that Luka Doncic, the teams that defend him in the playoffs just kind of queue up on him. And while he is still doing ridiculous stuff, ultimately the defense queues up on him enough that, especially by the fourth quarter, when he's tired enough and it's very clear that no one else is really going to step up and do all that much, comes down to if Luka is really that good at carrying. And even he's so good that he was able to carry them all the way to the Western Conference Finals / the Suns were so incompetent they allowed that to happen. But any way it goes, right now it looked as though, or before this, it looked as though if the Mavericks go far, it's because Luka carried. Simple as that. There's no other way it happens. That's not the case anymore. Kyrie being here, he's capable of being the best player in a winning playoff series. So now you have someone on that caliber paired with Luka. He's easily the best teammate that he's ever had. And now
I forgot to say that. I forgot to say that at the beginning. He's talking about Luka Doncic. He's talking about Kyrie Irving being the best teammate that Luka Doncic has had. But I hate to break it to you, Luka Doncic is the best teammate that Kyrie Irving has had. I'm gonna say that right now. Better than KD, better than LeBron, better than Kevin Love, better than James Harden. Luka Doncic is the best teammate that Kyrie Irving has had, and he is the best teammate that Kyrie Irving will have. That is my hot take for the video. I had to throw at least one hot take in this video, but that's my hot take.
Mavericks can win and Luka can just kind of chill, and that is something that is really pivotal, because
I didn't know he had 2 girls. I didn't even know Kyrie had kids.
To bring for Luka from the very beginning, from the onset, they took this heliocentric, he's the man, he does everything approach, and it was not good for his career, especially in the long run. And now we finally are going to be able to see what Luka looks like next to an all-star player, an all-star guard. Hasn't had that yet, and I think it's awesome. And I want to say, as someone who has been super duper critical of the Dallas Mavericks, that they finally did something that I'm quite happy with. I was also happy with the Christian Wood trade, but this is really a low risk, high reward move, little given up, especially a player that they were looking to move already in Dorian Finney-Smith. Just an absolute home run. Now, in terms of what this means for their championship hopes, I do genuinely think this instantly puts them solidly in the contender category. Now, I feel like they were all look, we're about to say the same thing. I feel like they were already contenders. I didn't think they would make it to the conference finals this year. But who else would have stopped them? The only teams above them, I think, were the Nuggets. That's a good running team. I feel like they would have had a great matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies at the time. And who else? The Sacramento Kings. I feel like the matchup with the Sacramento Kings would have been great. But I didn't see a team like dogging them. So I still saw them in the running already, just solely because of Luka Doncic. But now I probably have them as like a, if not a Western Conference team, I think they're going to push to Game 7 in the semifinals. That's my take.
That's where I have
on
them.
that cusp, just because Luka is amazing, but ultimately I would have picked another team to win because of the Luka solo squad issue. But given that they have Kyrie Irving now, there's not really any reason to discount the Mavericks. There's really not any reason to feel like some team will eventually overcome them, because that principle will no longer apply. Wow, I'm really happy with this move. Obviously,
Yeah, great move though. Great video as always. Rusty Buckets, amazing YouTuber. If you don't know about him now. Go to his channel, like and subscribe. Yeah, do your thing for Rusty Buckets. He's single-handedly carrying my channel for me. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But with that being said, I hope y'all did like the video. And if you like the video, comment and subscribe. We're closing in on 200 subscribers, and like the channel's growing. I just love that the channel is growing. So subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Peace out.